In today's video, I am going to be breaking down the modern basketball offense. This is actually a very simple basketball offense to run, and pretty much every team is running it at the NBA level, but also at the pro and college levels. Everyone's basically running a very simplified version of this, and you can too. Obviously, everyone at the higher levels are still running big set plays, but this is a nice base to be able to have for your team. So let's get down and let's check it out. But really quickly, if you want the complete guide to the 5-out offense, which is part of this modern offense, make sure to go check out the complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down in the description below. Now let's get down and let's check out these plays. Okay, so the modern offense generally has a 5-out, or sometimes what you will find is there will be a center who will be basically playing the high or low post. But the actual principles are basically the same. The principles are you cannot hold the ball for more than 1 or 2 seconds. You have to be able to pass, shoot, or drive. Those are the 3 options that you have, and you have to be able to make something out of it. So for example, let's say player 1 drives on his man. He attacks the basket. Option 1 is, can he score? That would be option number 1. Option number 2 is, who can he pass to be able to keep the offense moving? And that is a very good question to be able to ask, because we don't want players to go ISO to the basket every single time. We also don't generally want them to come to a 2-foot jump stop and to hold the ball for very long, or else the defense gets set up. So if player 1 was to drive, and let's say he drove down this left side, he needs to then either kick the ball out or continue dribbling out to the right or left. So for example, he just got a paint touch. He's collapsed the defense. Let's say player 3 was the option to be able to pass to. Player 1 has the option to clear out to the opposite side. If player 3 drives right away, player 1 can fill out to the right of the player who he passed to, or he could still fill out. Or if player 3 was to attack baseline, player 1 can then fill to the left of him, or he can fill up to this spot if player 5 is filling down. These can be all of your principles. You just have to tell your players what they need to do. Do you want them to fill out the opposite side and fill up like this? Would you rather have them kick that ball out, fill to the left while he drives to the right? This can open up opportunities to kick that ball back out because now maybe he's collapsed the double team. If you go with this route, then you're obviously going to also go with this route as well, because maybe player 3 just drove on the left side. So this could be your option that you teach your team. The other option is if player 3 drives, player 1 needs to lift to the wing and player 5 needs to fill. So if this is a drive, this is a lift, and this is a drop down towards the corner. Those are your 3 options. You can either clear out, you can fill to where you pass, or you can fill and lift to the wing. And that would be off of a drive kick offense, or a drive kick version of the offense. This also works with a player in the post as well. So if player 1 was to drive towards his left side, player 5 will lift to the elbow or to the free throw line at first, and then he can pop out to the point, and this would be a kick out pass here or a kick out pass here. If he kicks out here, again, you can still go through the principles of filling left or right and player 3 driving right or left. You can still fill out to the opposite side and have player 5 fill down. You can also keep player 1 there until somebody else drives. So for example, if player 5 fills in this spot and the pass goes to player 5 and player 3 cuts to his left, then player 1 can fill out to his left. But personally, I would prefer player 3 because the defender would be there to cut on the right, and then player 1 would fill out because now player 3 would be the post. That's how I would run it, but I've seen it other ways. So the whole gist of this offense is just to be able to get open, move off ball, because now you would also have potentially player 2 and 4 lifting towards the point and the wing, and now let's say you swing the ball. Well, player 5 cuts, we can have player 1 lift, player 3 fills out, and now we're still moving. Let's say player 4 attacks down to his right. Well, player 5 needs to get out of the key so he can fill out to the opposite corner. Player 4 then continues to the rim, and now he can kick out. There's a lot of options to be able to kick out from. All it is just drive, kick, swing with a couple of different options that you can put in as the coach yourself. Another option is the pass and do something offense, or at least that's what I like to call it. Just makes it easier to be able to teach. So if you pass, let's say to player 2, you've got to be able to cut or screen away or screen 4. Those are your 3 options. Now this would be a basic 5-out option, but you can also have this ran as a 4-corner / 4-out 1-in style offense, where if player 4 then passed to player 2 as an example, now player 4 can cut down this side, player 2 can then dribble up towards the left while looking for player 4, and player 5 would be filling out. Meanwhile, if we were running a 5-out offense, player 1 can pass, he can cut. Now, depending on what happens, let's say player 2 passes to player 5, well, now player 1 has to fill out to the opposite side. But if, for example, these guys lifted and player 2 passed over to player 4, well, now player 2 needs to cut, player 5 needs to lift, and player 1 can then fill out. Now, this is a little bit more difficult than the regular pass and cut 5-out offense. This is all dictating what the second move is going to do. So while we are waiting for the next pass, we could have player 1 hang out in the post until we make this pass. So if he passes here, he has to fill out. If he passes here, then he fills out the same side. So now this is all about reading what other players are doing after you cut to the basket. There's also the pass and screen. So if you pass and screen 4, well now, because you're screening 4, player 2 comes off, player 1 rolls. Well, when player 1 rolls, you're going to have player 5 lifting. Now player 1 has to read what player 2 is going to do. So if player 2 passes the ball to player 1, obviously you're going to look to score. If he kicks the ball out to this side, then player 1 needs to fill out. Player 2 continues his cut, and it's going to dictate if player 3 passes to 4. He can then dribble up, cut to the basket, and player 2 would fill out. If he passes then to instead player 5, then that pass would go to player 5. Player 2 gets out of the key because now the next person is cutting, and player 4 would be lifting. So it's all about reading and reacting, and a few small principles that you need to pay attention to as a player. This is not the easiest thing to run, but if your team can actually learn how to run it at least somewhat efficiently, then you're going to be a very, very hard team to beat, because zones, or at least most zones, and man-to-man is having troubles guarding stuff like this right now. So definitely try it yourself. If you want a zone that can stop this, make sure to go check out the Unbeatable Zone Defense book that is down in the description below. And if you want to run different 5-out options inside of this offense, make sure to go check out the complete guide to the 5-out offense, also down in the description below. I'll see you guys again in my next video.